think that the diversity of the American church allows some of those issues to be brought out more fully because each culture has a tendency to approach from a certain milieu or genre, if you will, to certain issues? Like I see within the Latino church, the issues of liberation and oppression
Sure.
and brought
Yep.
in and justice. And then I see other cultures bringing a different element to that. Do you think then that I mean, one of the things that we should build off of for this kind of idea of a beautiful community coming together and learning from one another, and that helps us to get a fully orbed gospel. And without that diversity, our gospel is still there, but in many ways is somewhat diminished, in that we can't take the full essence of its diversity without that around us, provided we are in a community that has that type of diversity at the same time.
Agreed. I think that's true. And I also think even if your community doesn't have that diversity in and of itself, that's why we have the body of Christ connecting to communities that are not like yours. So in one sense, I know it's frustrating for some because they might say like, well, my church has to be fully multi-ethnic. And that would be great if it was. But if it's not, or you're just not in that kind of community where that's a possibility, then what are the other avenues that you're creating for places for connection and to learn from a different group? Because there is some power in being apart, and there's some power in being together. And if there's ways that can come together in its best way, for example, does the civil rights movement happen without the Black church? Now, and I'm stepping into waters, not as a historian, so I do need
And not
to
as
make sure
Jesse Jackson out of high school.
Right. I gotta be careful. There's a lot of sin involved on why the church is divided the way it is.
Yes.
But some of the ways that might be redeemed is that it's paying attention to other things so that we can bring that together. And then as the Black church led in the civil rights movement, they invited other communities to be with them. And I think there are places where maybe is like the Sunday hour, is that going to be the best place for us to learn from each other and connect? It might be for some. But it also might be like the missions trip we're doing together, or the service projects we're doing together, or the places where we have more time to interact with each other, where we're really doing some good learning. And InterVarsity does some of that modeling. We might have some ethnic specific ministries, we might have some multi-ethnic ministries, but there's some commitments if we're on a particular campus to do retreats and missions trips and service projects together, or outreach together, while also having spaces where we're dealing with our own stuff too. And so it is more like being one, unity and diversity, having both. And so I just think there's different models out there on how that could play itself out, as long as the leaders, we all see like this is actually one thing and not separate things.